Microsoft and OpenAI are going through not a divorce, but I think a trial separation is probably more fair. They are two companies that are extremely intertwined ever since 2023, but they are starting to untangle and they're starting to move in their own directions when it comes to artificial intelligence. And back in 2023, it made an awful lot of sense. OpenAI needed cash and Microsoft wanted to get in on the ground floor with a highly advanced AI lab. So it made a lot of sense a couple of years ago. Now it's starting to unravel. But I think to understand how that's unraveling and why these news stories are important, so things like OpenAI signing a deal with Oracle instead of Microsoft for their cloud services, that's a big deal. Microsoft using Anthropic inside of Copilot instead of, or in addition to ChatGPT, that's a big deal. They are going in their own directions, but we need to understand how they're entangled to understand what changes are being made right now. So I've pulled up a couple of graphs. We'll start with this one, is probably useful. Gosh, it is complicated. It's really complicated from a legal and a technical point of view. So basically back in 2023, Microsoft invested about 13.75 billion into OpenAI. In exchange for that, they get to share in revenue. So it's a profit sharing agreement. So shares 20% of revenues and profits up to 92 billion. So it's not a simple, we own X percent of you. It is we're going to share in a certain amount of profits and revenue up to a certain cap. This is further complicated by the fact that OpenAI is not a for-profit company, but it's not a not-for-profit company. It is I need a company structure. They've come up with something very interesting, a partnership between, so they have a capped profit arm within their non-profit. OpenAI has a complex hybrid capped profit corporate structure overseen by a non-profit entity that directs the for-profit Public Benefit Corporation, PBC, to pursue a mission of developing safe and broadly beneficial AI rather than pure profit maximization. The fact that it's so complicated tells me that they are up to something, and they're trying to move it to for-profit at the moment, and they've been trying to do this for a while. And Elon Musk was quite rightly saying, no, hang on, your original mission was open source, it was making sure that this was for the public benefit, and now you are totally going against that. And the fact that their corporate structure is this spaghetti web of various different organizations, board of director which controls the public charity, which is the non-profit, which wholly controls OpenAI GP LLC, which controls OpenAI Global LLC, which is a capped profit company in which Microsoft is a minority owner, etc., etc. The fact that it is so complicated tells me, yeah, they're being a bit shifty here. But because of this complicated organizational structure at the top, what we've got though at the end of the day is Microsoft and OpenAI 2 years ago were intertwined. So OpenAI runs and trains their models on Microsoft's cloud service, which is called Azure. So that is the foundation layer of everything. So at the bottom, there's Microsoft Azure, an AI supercomputer, basically. That's what OpenAI were using as their infrastructure, and they were paying Microsoft for the use of that, but they're locked in because of this deal. On top of that's what they use to build the large language models, so GPT-4, GPT-5, etc. These are the models. Microsoft then licenses those models to put inside of Copilot. So Copilot is built off the back of the GPT models. You can see why this gets very confusing. So GitHub Copilot, the Office Copilot 365 applications, etc. So what inside Excel are currently built off the back of GPT-5, but now they're introducing Anthropic as well. So it's like a sandwich where at the bottom you have Microsoft providing the computing power and the cloud services. That is now potentially moving over to Oracle, who is a competing business. Then you have in the middle, you have the models, the GPT models, who are developed by OpenAI. But then on top of that, you have the fact that Microsoft have put the GPT models into their Microsoft products. So you can see how it's all a bit incestuous and all tied together. I think this was a useful structure for them to get started, for OpenAI to get started, but now they are outgrowing that. And both of these companies are looking for ways to diversify. I don't think it's going to be an acrimonious split. I think they've got their heads screwed on. If this was with Elon Musk, then this would end in tears. But I think Microsoft and OpenAI will be able to beneficially separate this and go their own ways moving forward. So I just wanted to try and explain the absolute mess that is behind the scenes here. And as if you're looking at the screen right now, you can see the corporate structure is a nightmare. And then the way the products and the various products intertwine is also a bit of a nightmare. So whoever's untangling this, bravo, good luck to you. The lawyers are going to make a lot of money. Let's put it that way.